Fearing most for the future, I'm reading the article with the top 10 most risky scenarios. I actually realised actually a few of them on there actually come together to combine what my greatest fear is, and that is overpopulation of the planet. Uh, People just seem to be having children for the sake of it, whether it's because they can, whether they're being promiscuous, whether they're not taking adequate protection when they're having sex. This doesn't go for this country. This is globally, and as you know, as awful as it may sound, where the likes of China, where you're limited to the amount of children you can have, I actually think is a step in the right direction. And if certain larger countries and continents were to adopt this policy, then I think things such as overpopulation, poverty, starvation, and lack of resources would actually not be as risky, and they wouldn't be appearing in this top 10. So that's overpopulation, and the increase of it is my major fear.
Living in poverty is the one thing that stood out for me, and that's because I think it's sort of the most realistic thing on there. Like the article says, nearly half of all Americans are living in poverty, and I don't think the UK is that very well off either. I know that for me, as a university graduate, I am finding it very difficult to get a job, and to be quite honest with you, if it wasn't for my parents, I would be living in poverty myself. So I think that could be a potential crisis, really, not just for the UK, but, well, for the world. I mean, America is probably one of the richest places, and yet nearly half of their population are living in poverty.
I think out of the 10 statements about the future of the world that concern me the most are number one about privacy. I think as technology evolves, we're getting to the stage where technology is taking over, and I think we're going to find out more and more about each other. I think, we'll end up all being chipped as you walk down the street, you pass a certain point, and a lamppost will record with some kind of RFID tag that you've passed it. I think, there'll be a stage where, we've got loads of cameras in Britain as it is. I think we'll have cameras in even more places. You won't be able to do or say anything without it being recorded. You have to be very careful what you post online. And I think that George Orwell's 1984 predictions are coming true.
Speaking specifically about the list of top 10 controversies shown in the article, I have to say that the thing that stood out to me the most as most worrying was the virtual abuse. I'm understanding the logic, I suppose, the idea of creating CGI child pornography with the idea that paedophiles could watch that instead of abusing real children. However, I think even the fact that that exists, even though it's not children, real children, I still find that to be very, very abusive. Ultimately, paedophilia is a sickness. It's something that's wrong with the person. That's my personal opinion. And when you're showing them these images, as far as I'm concerned, they're being titillated and encouraged, and are just going to seek out more and more. In what I understood of the article, it's going to be very clear that it's not real and that it's CGI, even if it looks real. So I imagine that people that are into that sort of thing will ultimately still seek out the real thing. That's the thing that upset me the most.